Grinches of Reddit. What do you hate most about Christmas? I know it sounds harsh, but I really hate just about every holiday, not just Christmas, because of my abusive mother. This just happens to be about Christmas. Every year as a child, I would come downstairs, excited to see what new things my brother and I would get. And every year, without fail, my brother would be in trouble with my mother because he breathed too much or didn't get good enough grades to deserve Christmas, and his presents would be held hostage. She would tell me I had to open my presents in that moment, while my brother couldn't. Then she would leach emotional poison into the air as I tried to enjoy the day, but instead, misery followed me as I hid in my room with whatever I got to avoid her. No one was allowed to be happy if she wasn't, and because she hated surprises, no one got to be surprised. And then she would complain about how no one ever got her anything, because she was so picky that if you did give her something, she would just complain anyway. And when her family came around for Christmas Eve dinner, guess who suddenly got treated like an interesting art piece or a lab experiment instead of a person? She would brag to her family about how brilliant I was, about how I was going to be the pride of the family, all while I served drinks and cleaned dishes, treated like a servant. So, to me, the only good part of Christmas was getting to see my father, who chose to shackle himself to that harpy. But I can't tell people that I hate Christmas, because then I'm a Scrooge or a Grinch. I bum people out by explaining that Christmas just reminds me of the years of abuse my brother and I suffered at the hands of that narcissistic banshee. I said I decided not to celebrate Christmas this year, since I already give my loved ones gifts on their birthdays, and we never really did Christmas gift exchanges anyway, and suddenly I'm bombarded with, "Where's your holiday cheer? You can't just not do Christmas. The reunion will be a mess without you. You just want an excuse not to get your family anything, didn't you?" No, I would just rather French kiss a shotgun than keep doing this BS anymore. If that means I'm ruining Christmas, then fine. Cover me in green fur and tell me my heart is 3 sizes too small. Thanks for listening to my unfestive tirade. Story 2. 2 things, I guess. First is the crazy consumerism. How for some people the holiday is just one long shopping spree. If you don't have the money to participate, you feel like crap and obligated to give gifts even when you can't afford it. My parents tried to get little things throughout the year whenever they had a bit of money, but they still often couldn't find the right gifts for everyone at the big family gathering on time. The family later switched to Dirty Santa to make it easier. Also, I hate the song Santa Baby. It encapsulates everything I despise about the consumerist side of the holiday and makes me mad every time I hear it. Second is my father, who would make us, my mother, sister, and me, cry on not just Christmas, but every single holiday. Birthdays and big life events too. Nothing sucks the joy out of a family-centered holiday filled with love and goodwill like the head of your family screaming until he's red in the face about how everything you do is wrong and how selfish, ignorant, and idiotic you are. We dreaded holidays because we knew it would happen no matter what we did. Bonus points when he decided to tear the house up and throw things around too. He did this all year, but during the holidays it hurt extra badly. Merry Christmas, ya filthy animal. Story 3. I try to mask my Grinch emotions as best I can, but I think anyone who has been through their parents separating, especially after a long, unhealthy relationship, can say that the holidays never feel the same again. To look at a Christmas tree and have your mind automatically jump back to a memory of your parents getting along and laughing together while watching you open presents, nothing hurts more than knowing you will never have that again. Even as you grow older, the memory keeps coming back to haunt you. I'm 23 now, and these memories flash at least once a day during the holiday season, triggered by Christmas music, driving past homes decorated in lights, and so on. To see the shell of what my family used to be and all of the negative fallout from the separation is enough to turn the most wonderful time of the year into the most miserable without a doubt. Story 4. I'm in my late teens. My cousins are 17, 16, and almost 9. Every Christmas is celebrated at my house. We have a tradition of celebrating on Christmas Eve, not Christmas Day. So we spend the whole evening and night together, myself, my mother, her sister who lives with us, her brother and his wife, their 3 kids, my cousins, and our neighbors. In total, there are about 17 of us every Christmas Eve. Usually it's all fun and games, and I don't necessarily hate Christmas. But I have to get this off my chest. My cousins have been rude and ungrateful since we were little, not just at Christmas but on birthdays too. And Christmas is the absolute worst. The eldest one, 17, is a real sweetheart now and is perfectly chill with whatever he gets. The other 2, hell on earth. Backstory. Their parents spend their money on fast food and cigarettes every day, and make my mom do the work of buying them clothes, expensive toys, and video games each year, because that's basically the only time they'll get anything nice. There are other personal issues I won't go into to keep privacy, but just know these are some of the most unfit parents I've ever met. My mom has pitied them for as long as I can remember, so she does a lot and spends thousands on clothes and toys. One incident that really stands out is from last year. The youngest one, who was 7 at the time, opened a box after receiving gifts from my mom, me, and even our neighbors who barely know them. It was probably jeans or something else my mom had spent a lot on. He took it out of the box and threw it on the floor, saying something like, "Huh? Clothes?" Everyone was stunned, and my mom was hurt. I was ticked off too, but I've had a reputation for saying mean things in the past, and it wasn't the right moment to snap at him. His mom scolded him, but did it matter? No. He still continues to be a little entitled shit. Fast forward a year to the present, and the behavior has only gotten worse. At Thanksgiving, the little shit told his mom to shut up when I asked her how he was doing in school, and she started telling me about his grades. He's constantly rough with younger kids, extremely entitled, and expects to get away with anything. I whispered in his mom Sip's ear. He Sept better be careful. My mom bought him the PS4 and all the games he wanted. All she did was laugh and tell him, "Hey, you be good. CC Sep's got something nice for you for Christmas." He rolled his damn eyes at me. For years, I've begged my mom to give up spending thousands on them. I know it's her money and she can afford it, but they use her. They know she has a soft spot for her nephews since they're the only family we have around here. We only see them maybe 3 or 4 times a year, but each October they send her Christmas lists filled with expensive electronics and she buys them. By November, my living room is overflowing with gifts, computers, tablets, game systems, you name it. Even then, when the last present is finally handed out, my cousins will look at their mountains of gifts and ask, "Is that it?" There are so many that they have tea. Their parents even call my mom and say things like, "This one wants a PS4, this one wants a new computer, this one wants a keyboard. Will you get them?" No please, no humility, no gratitude, just entitlement. This year, she bought the PS4 with games, 2 keyboards, the musical kind for the older kids, an expensive leather jacket, hundreds of dollars in clothes, headphones, electronic accessories for laptops she bought them one year, and probably other things I didn't see her wrap. And what happens to all that by next Thanksgiving? Broken or damaged. They have zero appreciation because they know they can get more out of her. I remember last year, or maybe 2016, she bought the older 2 hoverboards, and they're still in the boxes in the garage to this day. I also buy them gifts now that I work. Yes, I'm required to because they're family, but I hardly do much and get called a Grinch for it. I get sour this time of year because I'm not going to spend my money on things that will be thrown on the floor or ruined in 2 months. I still get them presents, mostly graphic tees for the older 2 and a toy or shoes for the youngest. Cheap stuff that won't be a huge loss for me later. If people notice, I spend way more on everyone else because they're appreciative and always say thank you. I'm willing to give to those who are genuinely grateful. Maybe it's not about the material things, it's the fact that they use my mom and she refuses to stop because she feels obligated. It breaks my heart to see them mistreat their things and demand more from her. My mom is tired, but she can't stop. I've explained how I feel and how much it hurts to see her upset when her nephews act like little shitheads toward her, but nothing changes and it feels like nothing ever will. I guess we'll live like this for a while until maybe it becomes too much and my mom can break the habit. I'll be the Grinch and she'll be Santa like every year. She spends and buys, I complain and beg, and nothing changes. Rinse and repeat. Story 5. My birthday is 2 days after Christmas, so a few people either forget or are over the whole gift-giving thing by then. Growing up, my sister thought I was getting an extra present, so my mom started a tradition where she got a present on my birthday, and I got a present on hers. Honestly, it was one of the dumbest parenting ideas I ever saw as a child. I never really played with the toys I got, so it felt like a waste, but my sister would get mad that I wasn't playing with them. For my last childhood birthday party, I celebrated in January so that everyone could come, and I actually got gifts. As an adult, I've realized there isn't much I can do for my birthday. I can't travel because flight tickets are twice the price at that time of year, and honestly, it kind of sucks. Last year, I had to go to the DMV to get my license renewed. Maybe I would just enjoy going out to eat with friends or family. There were times when I only asked for a cake. Story 6. I hate everything about Christmas. Christmas movies, except Die Hard, Christmas music Shoot Me Now, Christmas decorations, Christmas trees, the insane amounts people spend on useless crap. I hate that Christians repurposed an ancient pagan holiday that was perfectly fine on its own, especially the put the Christ back in Christmas crowd. I hate Santa and his stupid elves. I hate music that isn't Christmas music being turned into Christmas music. I hate radio stations playing Christmas music starting the day after Thanksgiving and decorations going up before Thanksgiving. I hate family I only see at Christmas. I hate Christmas food and candy that only looks good but you can't actually eat. I hate the elf on a shelf and all its variations. I hate Christmas TV shows and holiday specials, including the Star Wars Holiday Special and anything Charlie Brown. I hate the Grinch, the Sugar Plum Fairy, the Nutcracker, Christmas poems, and Christmas stories. And above all, I really hate people who complain about it all. Story 7. I hate Christmas. Specifically the gift-giving aspect. I do not really want much, and I never have aside from a couple of tech gadgets that are, first, far too expensive to be reasonable gifts, and second, things I strongly prefer to choose the exact type of myself. If I do not tell people what I want, they inevitably get me something I have no desire to own. If I do tell them, they usually get something slightly wrong, which makes it impossible for me to enjoy one of the few things I actually wanted. My mother goes all out with gifts, well over $1,000 per person. I rarely want most of it. One year, I suggested we return some of it, and she cried so loudly and for so long that I eventually changed my mind and kept everything. That money should be going toward her retirement or her mortgage, not being flushed away every December. On top of that, I am an awful gift giver, and I am fairly certain people feel just as underwhelmed by what I give them. The result is the same. Money spent, effort expended, and everyone quietly disappointed. While I enjoy giving and receiving small, unexpected gifts for no reason, and genuinely think that can be a great way to bond, I feel none of that warm, fuzzy feeling when it comes to Christmas gifts. All I feel is stress, watching my friends, my family, and myself flush money down the drain on things other people do not need or want. It is so forced, so rooted in obligation, that no one seems happy to receive a gift anymore, just relieved that they got one. And the entire Christmas season has gotten completely out of hand. Point any of this out, and there is a word for what you are doing, being a Grinch. And no one likes the Grinch. There is constant pressure to conform, to hand over a chunk of your paycheck in the form of mass-produced junk to people who do not actually want it. I do not want to exchange presents this year. I know my family will either make a huge frigging deal out of that or ignore my wishes entirely. If they are doing it anyway, I would rather just not come home. I do not want to be part of this waste anymore. Story 8. I'm a teacher, 33, female, and I live 800 miles from my family. Drivable, but still takes an entire day. So, of course, since I get 2 weeks off, I'm expected to go visit them. Every year, the 4 months leading up to Christmas, I've been herding 150 middle schoolers a day. What I really want is to sit in silence, read for fun, binge watch shows, do some baking, go to a couple of local parties, and just rest. What I don't need is the deep sound of disappointment because I won't be making the trip. More people, more chaos, more children, none of my own. More noise. You get the point. The worst part is my sister putting up her Christmas decor on November 1st. She's the polar opposite of me. The over-the-top Christmas cheer in her household is so annoying. I get along with my family incredibly well, and I love visiting them. I just hate having to sacrifice my extremely necessary quiet recharge time because it's Christmas. How about I visit when it's not so busy and the drive isn't icy? Who freaking cares that it's Christmas? That's why I'm a Grinch. Story 9. I had a terrible childhood. My family was poor, and my parents were abusive. I rarely speak to my mother, and I haven't spoken to my dad in years. Christmas was just abuse disguised as gifts, with alcohol added on top. Christmas mornings were the only bright spot. I was guaranteed to see my great-grandmother and my pop, but overall it sucked. I was forced to dress in fancy outfits and dragged into this 1950 style expectation of helping with dinner because of my anatomy, while my brother never had to. Afterwards, my sisters and I had to clean everything up. My dad always got drunk, and the night would inevitably end with a massive argument, often with someone getting hurt. My other grandparents never really got to come around, we'd maybe see them on Christmas Eve or just before New Year's. Now, as an adult, I just hate Christmas. I'm not a Grinch or a Scrooge. I'm just someone who was forced into horrible traditions as a child, and it left me broken. I still enjoy some parts of Christmas. I like watching Christmas films, eating pigs in blankets, and going shopping because everyone seems happier, but the day itself and everything about it just sucks. Honestly, I hope we can skip it this year. Story 10. The gifts. I don't have extra money just lying around to buy people things. Even when everyone agrees on a let's skip gifts and just have a meal and spend time together plan, there's always one a-hole who makes some terribly thoughtful handmade thing and then says, but it's handmade, it doesn't count. Great dickwad. Now I feel doubly shitty. Not only did I not do the lazy thing and buy you something, but everyone can see the energy discrepancy and I feel judged. If I go the other way and go broke buying stuff for people, I can see the hurt on their faces when they realize the gift discrepancy. If I make something for someone, I can see the hurt on their face because now they're the a-hole. No matter what, someone feels like an a-hole because of this stupid holiday. If you want to give a thoughtful gift, great. Do it in January or February when no one sees it coming so no one feels bad. Screw Christmas gifts. I don't want them and I hate giving them. Story 11. I'm a grown-ass married woman, but I still don't feel like my husband or I have any autonomy because we don't have kids. People expect us to be here or there or at the wrong time or for not long enough. We can never seem to make anyone happy. Last year, I tried to leave my sister-in-law's at 9 p.m. after being there for 11 hours. I said I was tired. Her response? You won't know what tired is until you have kids. First, people with kids don't have a monopoly on being tired. That's not a thing. Second, great. If you're tired too, let's all go to bed. Instead, she cried and kept bringing up things from 2 Christmases ago, comparing time spent with her family versus my family. It made me feel like absolute trash. And I used to love Christmas. Story 12. I grew up broke. Because of the pressure to buy gifts, which we could never really afford, Christmas always made me feel the poorest. Even now, as an adult with a great career and income, that feeling still comes back every year. But you know what? I frigging love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday. This year, I cooked Thanksgiving for 55 extended family members and loved every minute of it. Thanksgiving has everything great about Christmas without all the commercial BS. It's about family, gratitude, love, and generosity. It only lasts a day instead of an entire fiscal quarter. There's no obnoxious, repetitive music. The main event is just getting together with the people you love, not exchanging material gifts. And it doesn't matter what you can afford, everyone gets an equal seat at my table. Story 13. The fakery. Christmas is fake at best, but that was the time when we had to pretend we were a happy family. My parents stayed together for us kids, gee, thanks, and went through life passing each other by. But at Christmas, we had to sit up and smile. Carry that in your mind during the holiday season, and it quickly turns to resentment. The music is crap to begin with, but add a negative connotation, and it's easy to really hate it. Same with the movies on yearly repeat. Now that I have children of my own, I keep the Grinch inside. I put up a tree and all, but as soon as my kids and girlfriend are asleep, I turn off the Christmas lights. Story 14. The expectations, to be happy, to give gifts even though my brother and I are in our 40s, to travel 3.5 hours home on a workday and make sure I'm back in time for early mass. And then there's the baking of the cookies. Jesus, I hate the cookies. It sounds awesome that my mom makes 20 to 30 kinds of cookies, but year after year it becomes a chore. No matter how much you don't want to do it, you're expected to help. Even now, 17 years after moving out, I still get the "you should come home and help with the cookies" speech. The reliving of memories. Look, they weren't all good. They weren't all bad. But please, stop trying to turn my memories into something they weren't. And yes, I understand you grew up in a bigger family, went caroling, and everyone was drunk. But we now live in a time where if you show up at someone's doorstep drunk and belting out a tune, they're gonna take one look at their Ring doorbell and call the cops. Not to mention, my sister and I have birthdays a few days after Christmas. By the time my birthday rolls around, we've already gone through Thanksgiving, my mother's birthday, Christmas, and my sister's birthday, each with its inevitable drama. By the time it's my turn, no one is even talking to each other. So it isn't the music or the decorations that bother me, it's the heaping pile of expectations. The complete disregard that I'm the only one who has to travel and take days off work, and yes, the friggin' cookies. Story 15. In less than 10 days, I have to travel to rural Colorado to spend 5 days with my husband's family for Christmas, and it is giving me so much anxiety and heartburn. I hate this season so much. It seems to get worse every year. My parents made Christmas hell when I was growing up, constantly fighting and turning everything into a competition. Every year it was just stress and hiding in our rooms until it blew over. They are long divorced now, but the holiday still feels tainted for me. This Grinchness has spilled over into every aspect of the season. I can't stand Christmas movies or music. I hate peppermint and gingerbread. Even seeing red and green together in some tacky display sets me on edge. When I got married, I thought that because he comes from a loving family, it would be better, but it just replaced the arguing with guilt tripping and pressure. Last year, I went to my mom's house for Christmas and had to listen to how worried my mother-in-law was that I didn't like her anymore, and how many gifts they had gotten me. This year, immediately after Thanksgiving, they started asking me about my plans by saying things like, "You're coming to Christmas, right?" in front of the whole family. I know they mean well and just want to spend time with me, but I feel completely trapped. I get so little time off work, and the idea of a 5-day break at home sounds incredible. So needed, but I do not get to enjoy it. His entire family will be there, along with all their dogs and his dumb, annoying uncle who needlessly injects his backwards politics into random conversations. They all kind of do it, honestly. I want to hate him, but he is so well-meaning that I cannot out of sheer guilt. I feel like such an ungrateful little shit, but I cannot help it. Obviously, none of this is healthy or normal, but despite years of trying, I cannot control it. I just try to hold it together and not explode until it is over, and then get wasted on New Year's. Story 16. I absolutely despise Christmas. I dislike everything about it. The blue LED lights hurt my eyes. I hate the constant Christmas songs, and I can't go anywhere without hearing them after December 1st. I can't stand people who start talking about Christmas in October. It makes me feel deeply resentful. I still buy Christmas presents for my friends and family throughout the year, and I give them their gifts throughout December because I don't like group exchanges. My boyfriend tossed my name into the family Secret Santa, and I'm secretly upset about it. I wasn't always like this. I loved Christmas as a kid. My mom used to make my favorite foods when we put up the tree, and we'd watch the same hilarious Christmas movie each year. I always got plenty of gifts and was surrounded by family. We'd open presents, have lunch at home, and then go to my grandma's house, where our huge family would pile in from all over the province. But once I struck out on my own and stopped living with my parents, my family became very hostile toward each other. My mom has BPD and severe clinical depression. I acted out a lot as a teenager and went through turbulent times transitioning into adulthood. My brother likely has an undiagnosed personality disorder, which has caused even more strain. Because of all this, I haven't had a Christmas that wasn't filled with anxiety. The family I used to spend Christmas with no longer exists. My mother doesn't want to spend Christmas with us because she can't afford gifts, feels guilty about it on social assistance, and resents my father for buying my brother and me better presents. My father moved to another province with my stepmother, and my brother followed not long after. That left me as the only one in Alberta besides my mom, who lives in another city. My dad has always been willing to fly me out to their new home. I've gone twice, but I end up spending Christmas with my stepmother's family, who I didn't know growing up and who were estranged from her. It felt weird. My brother and I, who only see each other once or twice a year, inevitably end up fighting over almost anything, which means we don't talk for another 6 to 8 months. So I find myself sitting across the table from 4 people I don't know. My brother, father, and stepmother are fully embracing these strangers while I'm sure it's written all over me that I'm uncomfortable and just want to leave. I wasn't rude. I tried small talk, limited my alcohol consumption, played poker with them, and didn't push to leave early. But I was far happier when I got back to my dad's place. I wanted to try spending Christmas with my mom this year, but she won't acknowledge it and uninvited me in mid-November. I think my dad can tell that I'm uncomfortable spending Christmas with my stepmother's family, so he isn't pushing me to visit. I told him I was planning to spend the holidays with my boyfriend of 3 years' family. They try to include me, but over the past year, I've become very distant. Well, clearly, I have issues being part of a family now. The thing is, I used to have a family. I was very close to my dad's side, grandma, cousins, but a suicide in the family, an uncle lost to cancer, and the divorce took a toll, and my dad didn't push us to spend time together. My mom's downward mental health spiral also strained her side of the family and their relationship with my brother and me, so we're not close there either. Now I find myself being pushed into new families after my own fell apart. It's terrifying. I'm seriously considering spending the holidays alone, pretending it's not Christmas. Because Christmas, especially anything involving family, is becoming ridiculously depressing. Story 17. The obligations. It's all so artificial. You give gifts to people because it's expected, specifically gifts you think they would like. This person got me a gift this year, I have to get them one back. You're not doing it out of selflessness and love. If you were, you'd get someone a gift at literally any point to show you care and that you thought of them. You're doing it because you were told to as a child and because you once reaped the benefits. This one singular aspect of Christmas drags the rest of the holiday down for me. Spending time with family? Sure. Decorations? All right. Music? Fine. But this obligatory celebration of spending money ruins it for me. Story 18. I didn't always hate Christmas. When I was younger, it was one of my favorite times of the year. It started losing its luster 7 years ago when I was 24, after my grandfather passed away and my grandmother sold their house. Every Christmas and Thanksgiving had been spent there, and I'm sure that has something to do with it. I was never super close to my grandparents, but I feel like when he passed, a lot of our family traditions went with him. I'm terrible at gift giving. I never really know what to get people, and I'm not good at picking out things that would make someone say, "That's so thoughtful." On top of that, I always seem to be a bit strapped for cash around this time of year, which makes things harder. This caused issues between me and my fiancé the last couple of years. She didn't want to exchange gifts because she didn't want me spending money. I didn't have to. I still got her something, making sure not to go overboard. I didn't get anything from her though, because we already talked about it, which I understand. I didn't expect to get anything, but anyone with any sense knows that no matter what a woman says, you get her something at least for Christmas. We didn't spend Christmas together. We haven't lived together yet. I own a house, but she needs to live close to her job, and her family was visiting her for the week. I was finally going to meet her family, but no, she got sick and didn't want me coming over. At least, that's what she said. It sounds a bit fishy, but I've never really had a reason to suspect her of lying. Really, we've never spent Christmas together. The year before, she went to visit her family in another state. I couldn't go because I had just come through a really rough patch financially after losing my job and being unemployed for a long time. I didn't want her spending a bunch of money on me to travel with her. This Christmas, I know we won't spend it together because she's pretty much given up on our relationship after 3 years. We haven't spoken in over 24 hours. The last thing said between us was a text from me saying that I'm done being the only one trying to keep the relationship going while we're in a rough patch. So, that's fun. 3 years ago, I was with someone else. I'd been with her for around 2 years. One night, around December 20th, we were lying in bed and I got this icy vibe off her. I asked what was wrong. Of course, she didn't want to talk at first, but after some prying, she admitted she didn't want to be with me anymore. She planned to wait until after my birthday in the first week of January to break up with me so she wouldn't ruin the holidays. So yeah, that was a fun ride. 6 hours to spend Christmas with my parents on short notice in a vehicle I had just bought a couple days prior, with nothing but Christmas music on the radio, trying not to kill everyone's holiday spirits by being a mopey lump. So yeah, Christmas sucks. Story 19. I don't consider myself that much of a Grinch, but at my last job we had involuntary Secret Santa. I frigging hated it. My family doesn't even give gifts anymore. Except for the kids, just getting together is good enough for us. So having to get something for a coworker felt completely stupid. On top of that, all we got was the person's name, no interests, hobbies, or anything. So not only were you forced to participate, but if you didn't know the person well, you had to do super sleuthing around the office to figure out what to get them. And of course, there was always the 1 or 2 people who, despite the $20 limit, would very obviously spend $100 or more, making the rest of us feel bad for being reasonable. I have a new job this year where thankfully there's no Secret Santa nonsense. Definitely won't miss that. Story 20. I used to absolutely love Christmas. It was my favorite time of the year. I'm 17 now, the youngest of 6 siblings, and I stopped loving Christmas around age 13. None of my siblings were into it anymore, and neither were my parents, which ruined it for me. I used to color with my older sister for Christmas. We drew Santas, Christmas trees, elves, snow globes. We cut out snowflakes and hung them on the windows, all while Christmas music played, and we ate cookies my mom made. It was probably my favorite tradition. She stopped coloring with me when I was about 12. I'd beg her to color for just a few minutes or cut out a single snowflake with me, but she always said, maybe later, or I'm busy right now, or do it with someone else. I never wanted to do it with anyone else. I wanted to do it with her. As a family, we used to go ice skating every year, but that stopped when I was 11. We also stopped doing Elf on the Shelf then. My mom used to sing a song on Christmas Eve every year right before bed. That stopped too. We used to get all the Christmas decorations out the day after Thanksgiving as a family. That stopped when I was 12. I had to plead with everyone to help me get the decor out. Now, it usually comes out just a few days before Christmas, and it's only the tree and a few smaller decorations. The tree never has much on it either. It was all so abrupt. One year everything was great, and the next it was awful. I learned that Santa wasn't real around the same time it all stopped, and that made everything worse. It made me feel like all the Christmas joy and laughter had been fake, that everyone was just pretending to have fun to make me happy. Then I stopped believing in Santa, and they could all stop pretending too. I remember being 12 years old, crying in bed after school. I'd hear about all the fun things my friends did with their families, and I knew exactly what that felt like, but it was like all of it had been stolen from me. I started to hate Christmas. I used to look forward to it every year, but now I frigging hate it. When I think about Christmas, all I think about is crying and feeling sorry for myself. It isn't fun anymore. It might seem stupid to hate an entire season just because my family isn't into it anymore, but I can't help it. I hate it, and I'm not looking forward to this Christmas at all. Story 21. People go overboard with buying gifts, as if that's the sole purpose of Christmas. When I was little, I used to love this holiday, not for the gifts, because my family celebrates Christmas Eve more than Christmas Day, and we didn't have Santa. We had the three wise men on the night of January 5th, but because my whole family would come over for dinner and we'd have a huge, amazing party. All the kids got together, fireworks were lit, and it was so cool. My family lives on the other side of the world, and my husband's family does Christmas with gift exchanges, and I absolutely hate it. I've sadly realized that, in the time I've been married, I've become more anti-Christmas because of the way they celebrate. It's more about the stupid gifts and materialistic things than it is about hanging out and eating amazing food. It's also weird to me to have to buy other adults specific gifts they ask for. Like, bro, you couldn't have bought that yourself months ago? I no longer have Facebook, but when I did, people constantly bragged about how much they were spending on gifts and holiday shopping. Oh, I got my sister a Michael Kors purse. Okay, Susie, you should have gotten her a trip to Europe instead. That's an expensive gift. I told my husband that we were going to save up instead and go to Iceland next spring. Collect memories, not things. Story 22. For me, it's the lack of parties and events, because everyone assumes that everyone else is just too busy. It used to be that every club or meetup I was in did something for the holidays, usually a white elephant exchange. Yeah, cheesy but also fun. Over the years, those groups dissolved or changed. Now, all the groups I'm in are doing nothing. You ask why, and it's the usual line. Oh, everyone's so busy around the holidays. The thing is, not everyone is. There are just a few people who ruin it for everyone else by going, oh, I'm so busy. I have the kids' recital, the work party. I have to buy gifts, get ready to go to my in-laws. Okay, fine, you're busy or suck at time management. So you don't have to go, but you also don't have to constantly brag about it and be the busy martyr. Plenty of others actually look forward to these events. We don't have the giant family, and the in-laws are 3,000 miles away. How do I know? Because these events used to get everyone out of the woodwork to attend. So it really sucks when you see a holiday event on Meetup that sounds cool, only to later find out it's just some town-organized thing posted for informational purposes with no real hosting. Yeah, I can go to a tree lighting by myself and feel like crap. I don't need a website pretending it's a social gathering. Also, I absolutely hate it when they play holiday music in August. Story 23. It really amplifies the negative things that may be going on in your life, and it's hard not to compare what you have to others. I was raised by a single mom, so I spent a lot of time alone, but Christmas is when it really hurt. My mom would always work the night shift on Christmas Eve for extra money, so I'd spend it alone in an empty house and would inevitably grow bitter. She would come home in the morning and be too tired to do anything, which was understandable. My grandma was suffering from cancer, and during Christmas one year, my mom took that one off. She went into a coma and died. My mom had to unplug her life support. A very Merry Christmas indeed. Story 24. I hate the materialism that goes into it. Having worked in retail for several years, I was told multiple times that I ruined Christmas because we were out of something that was supposedly critical to having the perfect holiday. Most of the time, the customer was shopping the week before Christmas and should have expected popular items to be hard to find. I love the family aspects of Christmas, but that gets drowned out. Story 25. I used to live with my aunt, who made me write thank you letters for every person who gave me a gift. She would keep me sitting in the living room past midnight because either the card was messy or I wasn't being sincere enough, even though she wouldn't tell me how to do better. She ripped up the bad cards in front of me and yelled at me for being selfish. It's a very effective way to put a kid off Christmas forever. Story 26. It reminds me of how much I hate myself, but in a good way, if that makes sense. My family is usually a little warmer toward each other around this time, and my wife's family goes from already affectionate to being so kind it makes me want to friggin' cry. They say nice things to me. They hug me. I don't know how to process that shit. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me, but being treated with kindness tears me apart. I can handle being threatened, screamed at, dealing with my own anger, panic attacks, fear, all of that. But for the life of me, I don't know what to do when someone treats me genuinely well. I don't know where in my brain to put how it makes me feel, and it messes with me so badly that I start wondering what's wrong with me and how my life went so off the rails that kind interactions turn me into a sniveling bitch. Story 27. Because I'm from Florida, we don't do snow. No snowmen, no snow angels, no yellow snow, no snow at all. We do, however, get thousands of snowbirds, which makes living here more complicated. We don't do caroling. We don't do caroling. We don't do hot cocoa or sleigh rides. But we still have to listen to the cheesy music for 2 solid months. Then, the day after Christmas actually begins, yes, it's a 12-day feast. All the Christmas stuff gets tossed in the trash. That's when you realize it wasn't about baby Jesus at all. It was a religious feast amplified by a culture obsessed with disposable goods and emotional manipulation, designed to make you feel a certain way. None of it feels right. Story 28. I hate everything about it. I don't want gifts, and if I want to buy you something, I'll do it and give it to you, no reason needed. Also, consumerism. I was always the poor kid in my friend group, and people bragging about their gifts and the money spent made me feel awful. Visiting family is another nightmare. No one is happy with your choices or seems to care that you've had to work, take time off, and travel. Skip Christmas? You never hear the end of it. Never mind that people could come visit us. Most Christmas music is garbage, though people seem to like it for nostalgia. The few good songs, you only need to hear them twice and you're done. It's too stressful and expensive. I'd rather stay home and cuddle my pets. The only good thing, the thunder play on Christmas Day. It's a reason to get away from people. Story 29. When I was 8, my parents divorced, and from that point on, all I wanted growing up was for them to be back together for Christmas and Thanksgiving. As I got older, I accepted that it was never going to happen, but having to go through that disappointment every year while dealing with the pain of the divorce made me anti-Christmas. I wouldn't say I hate it, but I'm definitely not a fan, and often wish we could skip it. I do like the Christmas lights in people's yards, though. Story 30. I frigging hate it. I hate the decorations, the obnoxious music, the huge dinners, and the excessive spending. I work in retail, and I'm sick to death of dealing with customers freaking out about what pair of pajamas to get their cousin's donkey's sister, because apparently she can't survive without another pair of jammies. Not to mention, I have a kid expecting presents from Santa. Of course he's going to get them. But I'm not made of money and can't afford gifts for everyone else. I hate listening to people whine because they didn't get anything from me besides the cookies I spent an afternoon making. Yes, this happens every year. Above all, I hate the pressure to spend time with family you don't like and who probably don't really like you either. My family was, and still is, very abusive, so I don't want to be around them. Yet, everyone seems to think that boundary suddenly isn't acceptable just because it's Christmas. And if I have to listen to my in-laws tell me one more time that I have to celebrate with them so I can replace my horrible Christmas memories with good ones, I'm going to completely lose my shit. It doesn't work like that. It can't be done. The damage is done. Let me pass on this craptastic day and try to find some peace for once in my life. Life is not a Norman Rockwell painting for a lot of people, yet society pushes these ridiculous expectations of a happy family that gets along, eating lavish meals and playing board games together. If you don't fit those expectations, if you can't bring yourself to be giddy about Christmas, you're somehow considered less than. The whole thing is just stupid, wasteful, and annoying. Honestly, I'd go so far as to say it makes me sick. Story 31. I have to spend money to get people something they want while they spend money to get me something I want. Why not just cut the BS and buy what you actually want for yourself? Use the holiday to spend time with people instead. Luckily, my family and I have an understanding. I do not get them anything and they do not get me anything. If they choose to get me something and they have in the past, They do not get angry when I do not have anything for them. It has worked out fine for the last decade or so. I do not have the same luck with my girlfriend's family though. Typically, I just buy what she tells me to get for them and put my name on it. Story 32. I'm not really a Grinch. There are a lot of great things about Christmas, but as I enter adulthood, I've started seeing the depressing side, the sheer prevalence of angry, stressed out people this time of year, especially on Facebook, where arguments over trivial things get way worse. I think maybe people feel the need to validate themselves somehow, to prove something, if their lead up to Christmas isn't going perfectly. Ranting about Christmas songs being banned, PC culture, or how the postal strike has ruined Christmas. No, Karen. If your Christmas is ruined, it's probably because you spoiled your kids and then took on an extra job, working yourself to misery and broke months in advance just to keep up with the Joneses. I wish we could all simplify Christmas a bit and make it fun, not stressful. Story 33. Growing up, my house was a Christmas wonderland. My mom decorated everything. Every picture on the wall was wrapped like presents. Every table had snow-themed decorations with little villages. Even the toilet had covers and rugs around it. It was completely over the top. The decorations stayed up from Thanksgiving until January 7th. As a child, I enjoyed it, but I think I experienced a lifetime of Christmases between the ages of 5 and 11. Once I got a bit older, I started to resent hauling the 22 bins of decorations up from the basement. That somewhat tainted Christmas for me. I still enjoy the season, but I could handle it just from about December 20th to December 26th. I still put up a tree because I have a daughter. That's the only reason. I don't hate Christmas, but I am a Grinch. Is that possible? Absolutely. You can enjoy parts of the holiday while still feeling grumpy about the rest. Story 34. I don't celebrate Christmas. I was raised in a different religion, but growing up, I never felt like an outsider. Even so, I say Merry Christmas, along with everyone else. I understand it's about wishing others a good season, and I can get on board with that. I'm not offended if someone wishes me a Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays or my own faith's greeting. I appreciate the goodwill. However, as an outsider, I feel I can look at Christmas more critically. I have no rose-colored memories to cloud my feelings. My dislike boils down to a few experiences. For a while, I was dating a very Christian boy. He begged me, repeatedly, to come to church with him. I'm not very religious, but I figured I could sit and be a good girlfriend for an hour. That is, until I realized why he was so adamant that I go. Once the congregation realized I wasn't of their faith, they aggressively tried to convert me. My boyfriend even went so far as to say he was worried I would go to hell if I didn't convert. I was young and naive, but I should have left him then. Christmas, in that experience, was about putting down others rather than celebrating with family. More recently, I worked at a major theme park. I have never felt more like an outsider than I did there. Everything was Christmas. Everything. I started counting representations of my own religion that were on display or for sale, and I could only come up with a handful. Even things that were supposed to be non-denominational were Christmas-themed. Sidebar. If you have a product with Santa on it, there's no need to say Happy Holidays. No one of any other faith is going to buy that product. Just call it what it is. It's a Christmas product. Your attempt to be PC has failed. Anywho, one Christmas season, the amusement park was celebrating a major milestone. So instead of all Christmas, there was also anniversary decor, probably a 50-50 split. The park was absolutely packed every day. As a retail worker, the store was constantly full of people trying to buy gifts. The holiday season started in early November at the park, so by the time we really got into the swing of Christmas, most of the merchandise was already sold out. I cannot even begin to count how many people screamed in my face about how I ruined their Christmas because insert stupid complaint here. The lines were too long. We were out of the shirt they wanted. The weather was too cold. I could go on and on. It really became obvious to me that no one actually cared about spending time with family. They just wanted to show off how much better their Christmas could be compared to everyone else's. The pinnacle was one night right before Christmas. Usually the park had special fireworks for Christmas, but that night they were still showing the special anniversary fireworks, which, personally, I loved. Especially because Christmas comes every year, but this anniversary celebration was unique. A woman came in and started screaming at me about how much the park hated Christmas. There weren't enough decorations, there were too many people, all the merchandise was sold out, and we didn't have the Christmas fireworks. All I could do was nod with a dumb smile and dead inside eyes. Inside, I was screaming, I like it this way. I don't even celebrate your stupid holiday. She was foaming at the mouth, berating me when my coworker chimed in, not to defend me, oh no, but to agree with her. To hell with anyone who might not believe what you believe. Any Christmas spirit I had left died that night. I have not enjoyed a moment of it since. Story 35. Christmas can be great, but let's face it, there is a lot of stress and preparation that goes into it. It's absolutely ridiculous that through all of it, I'm supposed to feel nothing but joy. I have final projects, and I need to buy thoughtful gifts for the most important people in my life, including my boyfriend, whose birthday is also in December, meaning double the presents and double the stress. They can't be too expensive because I'm a poor college student. I have to make travel plans with family, make sure I can attend everyone's Christmas parties, deal with weather that makes going out difficult and sometimes dangerous, and the list goes on. But the worst part? If I even mention anything negative about it, I get called a Grinch. Yeah, sorry, I'm stressed the F out over here, so I'm not as happy as you are about the holidays coming up. I know the 24th and 25th will be nice and relaxing, but for now, screw this. Story 36. Right now, it's been 2 years since I've had a job that pays decently. I have a child with my wife, and she has 3 from a previous relationship. I'm not making nearly what I used to, and honestly, it's money for me. I loved Christmas as a child, like most kids do. My family was always tight on money, but times were very different. This year, her kids go with their dad, but they still want things from us. They're at an age where toys don't work anymore. They want more expensive stuff, which I just can't do. My son is only 3, so he doesn't quite understand yet, which makes it easier. I've done what every father would do. Go without, never complain, and I'm certainly not complaining now, but it's hard to give a decent Christmas to kids. I've tried planning and buying gifts months in advance, stretching between paychecks, but something always comes up. A bill, an emergency, whatever. That's really what I hate most about Christmas, not being able to give what I should be able to. Story 37. I don't hate Christmas itself. I hate visiting family. I'm constantly met with the fear of mortality of my relatives. Everyone feels sad, even when they're happy. On top of that, no one has ever really tried to bond with me. Everyone loves my sister. She's extraordinarily smart. My other sister is the social butterfly. And me? Well, what's there to say about me? I've grown increasingly bitter about relatives looking at me and fumbling to say something. There's no one my age, and I'm not taken seriously. Whenever I share my passions, they insist I'm wrong. I can't speak without feeling smothered or awkward. I'm best known as the babysitter because I watch the kids. Everyone else is out mingling, but I have no one to talk to, so I have to watch them. It's not an issue because I love them. My heart soars seeing that they love me, but they're the only ones who do. Sometimes it feels like my own family doesn't love me that much. So really, it isn't about Christmas at all. It's about the family dynamic. Story 38. I think what I hate most about Christmas is how fake it all feels. At its root, it's a Christian holiday superimposed on the pagan holidays of Yule and Saturnalia, and it isn't really about giving, it's about exchanging. This might be a bit long, but here's why. In my opinion, Halloween is a much better holiday. This is taken from a rant I sent a friend 2 months ago. I'm also on mobile, so sorry about the formatting. Halloween is my favorite holiday. I like it more than Christmas, and here sips why. 1. Halloween is about pure pleasure. Whether it's the adrenaline-fueled thrill of haunted houses or scary movies, or dressing up with your friends and having a good time, it's all about enjoyment. Christmas, on the other hand, is more of a feels holiday. Sure, it can make you feel warm and fuzzy, but that good feeling comes with a social contract to maintain a jolly attitude. A bad day on Christmas is bah humbug. A bad day on Halloween is just a bad day. 2. Halloween is just as much about selfless giving as Christmas, at least in the modern sense. You literally go door to door asking for candy, and the people who answer are often genuinely interested in your costume and happy to give out something for free. Christmas, again, comes with a social contract. You get a present, you're expected to act humbled, and then return a gift of equal or greater value. There's a guilt factor attached to receiving that feels exclusive to Christmas. On Halloween, some people do nothing but receive, and nobody bats an eye. 3. If you don't like Halloween, fine. That's cool. Nobody cares. But if you don't like Christmas, bah humbug, way to ruin the holiday spirit. People get overly protective of the Christmas spirit, which brings me to my next point. 4. Christmas is a really exclusive holiday, and it can bring out the worst in people. Everyone gets worked up about having the perfect Christmas and finding the perfect gift, and they become monsters. Granted, this was my first Christmas season working in retail, but I saw enough unhinged behavior in stores during the holidays to prove the point. If it truly is the season of giving, why are you so upset that you can't have what you want? 5. Christmas movies and music are either religious, family feel-good, or absolutely heartbreaking. Halloween movies can be anything: religious, scary, funny, family-friendly, whatever. The music is more fun too. I'll take the Monster Mash over the Christmas shoes any day of the week. 6. Halloween is about being somebody or something else. It's an excuse to wear crazy things or portray celebrities without being judged. Want to be slutty? Cool, go for it. Want to be a geek? Sure. Want to try out that cosplay? Why not? That said, racial stereotypes are still offensive and not okay. So keep the weenie out of Halloween. Do the mash, the Monster Mash. I hear it's a graveyard smash. Dress up, have fun, and celebrate the holiday that's solely based on guiltless giving and receiving and being somebody you're not. Story 39. Every time this time of year approaches, I start getting anxious and sick to my stomach, day after day. I know it probably seems silly. I don't want to ruin anyone's fun, and I'm genuinely glad that so many people get joy out of it. But it's true. The songs, the activities, the decorations, even the presents just remind me of how badly my biological mother abused me every year. She was so cruel. I'm a grown adult now, but it still hurts to remember. It feels impossible to look at a package of candy canes or an angel on a tree without feeling her hate-filled eyes boring into me. For example, a present was never just a present. It was an obligation, a statement, an expectation, or a promise that whatever I was given would be used against me for years to come the moment I stepped out of line. Even when it is not Christmas, I still have a hard time accepting gifts, especially in front of people, for the same reason. I have made some good memories here and there since I escaped, but I can never quite shake the feeling that something is wrong, that I will be in trouble for not smiling enough, for not putting enough ornaments on the tree, for not singing along to every Christmas carol, or for bringing up any problems I was having. I lived in fear of her for my entire childhood. On her best days, my needs were consistently neglected. During the holidays, her worst days dropped to a new low, and despite everything, I was too scared to call the police. As a teenager, I sometimes cut myself with shards of ice. I also frequently used the cold winter air as a form of self-harm, as I am very sensitive to it. I have gotten hypothermia 4 times, hoping I would eventually become like the little match girl and fall asleep for good, maybe waking up to a new family in heaven. One December, the first December of being free from her, I was still dealing with the trauma of cutting ties with anyone on her side and staying as hidden as possible. There were a couple of other traumatic things happening at the time too, but I don't feel comfortable disclosing them. The point is, even though I was free, I was still under an immense amount of trauma and stress. Then my ex and I broke up. When things became so bad that I was almost hospitalized again, when I needed him most, he completely abandoned me. That is why I tried to end it all on Christmas that year. I have my own found family now, and that has made things easier. Still, there is this unspoken sense of dread lingering in the back of our minds about whether or not to reach out to certain people, how to prevent certain people from reaching out to us, and so on. It is incredibly stressful, and sometimes it makes me wish that Christmas did not exist at all. It does not help that I am pretty broke this year and have to choose between getting a gift for a dear friend and getting a gift for my girlfriend. I have been putting it off because of that, but I know prices are only going to keep rising. You can imagine how little I enjoy thinking about it. I never want to ruin anyone's fun or make them feel like they can't enjoy the holidays, so I rarely bring this up in real life, but it still hurts. What hurts more than anything else is the reminder that the heartwarming experience of growing up in a happy family never happened for me. I will never have that. I will never be able to have a Christmas dinner surrounded by people of my own blood who supported me and helped me grow all those years because they didn't. It has gotten better over time. I have worked really hard in therapy, and I have been taking my medication, but I can never let myself think too deeply about the majority of my Christmas memories, or the whole day will be ruined. If you are reading this and you do enjoy Christmas, I am glad you are able to enjoy the holidays, and I am glad it is something you can easily bond over with the people you love. But it is important to remember that abuse, pain, and trauma do not take a break on the 25th, and that goes for everyone who struggles to make it through this time of year. I am really hurting. I wish I could pretend, even for a second, that I had a whole childhood full of wonderful memories, where nothing ever had to be perfect, where mistakes and mishaps only brought my family closer, where the adults in my life listened, cared, and treated me like a person. But that only makes it hurt even more when I open my eyes. Thank you for listening. Whoever you are, I hope your holidays are going infinitely better than mine. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.